All right, back again. This is a response, hopefully a very quick little one before bed. This is a video from Successful Ladies Live channel, and this is a video she posted today. Let's just go to the top. This is called Part 1, Tay Diggs has resentment towards black women. He wants Keisha now. So the basic brief summary of the video is he's having this interview and there's some allusion to the fact that, well, he was very publicly and for quite some time with Idina Menzel, famous for the Broadway, runaway hit Rent. Also, famously for the song Let It Go, Frozen, that big smash hit song. And they've been together some time. He's also known for, I would say, The Best Man, kind of black romantic comedy, what have you movie. Also, he was on Private Practice, one of the Shonda Rhimes ventures for a number of years. How Stella Got Her Groove Back, right? Yeah, that too. So... so he's definitely a known commodity. So this whole comment, as you can see here, because I have my camera phone all up in front of it, you can read the whole thing, but I want to hone in just on the middle, because this is key. And I'm so glad that this comment was posted, because it's something I've been wanting to talk about and just kind of dig into, and I think there's a lot here. But let's just focus in on the middle. I'm just going to read it out and then just kind of point by point pick it apart. Black females, I really hate when people do that. Black women, black men, yeah, but anyway. Black females are raised to be black first, with women coming a distant second, and never prioritize itself ahead of being black. Actually, let me go back a second, because this is key. It comes down to this. Black guys were raised to be men first, with black a distant second, to be utilized in the service of being men first. Black women, I'm just correcting that there, are raised to be black first, with women coming a distant second, and never to prioritize itself ahead of being black. As a result, you have two generations where black males have smoked themselves into oblivion, effed themselves into oblivion, Game Boyed themselves into oblivion, pursued every women fantasy that they had in mind to fulfill themselves as men, whereas black women went to school, got professional jobs, bought houses, pursued every strategy to slay Becky and Brad, not realizing that Rayshawn only wanted to F Becky, not slay her, and hang out with Brad. He didn't care about slaying them either. That's why you have the dysfunction you have in the black community. That's why you have the lack of resources. That's why the first people to devalue black people are black guys. Stay over there, Tay. We don't want or need you. And that comment really hones in on this, something that I'll probably come back to again and again, but I'm glad that this showed up for me to jump on this now. So just in a brief overview, going back to the first part of that, that's one of the key topics and points that's been coming up a lot. Black women and girls typically see themselves as black. Like, that 90s song people pass around, I'm black, y'all. I'm bliggity, bliggity, bliggity black, y'all. And well, black men, they're black and they're men. And it's a battering ram to use against whites. So using the Brad and Becky, we'll just keep those as they are laid out in the comment as this kind of stock character figure, black, white woman, white man. So he's black and he's blackity black, y'all. And for Becky, it's this Mandingo myth that's the kind of the key thing we usually think of. We think of white women, black men, and how they try to lord their personhood as black men over white women and in relationship to them. But another key caveat that I will hopefully come back, well, not hopefully, we'll come back to probably repeatedly, is also the fact that, and think about there's two films, I might have mentioned this previously. Think about The Blind Side with Sandra Bullock, and I don't even remember the guy who played the boy, who's like, the overweight football kid from the inner city with a crackhead mom and a non-existent black father who's like, whisked into this upper middle class white southern household and becomes this football star. Or a film like Finding Forrester with, I think that was his only real film, this young black guy and Sean Connery. Even though the film is a little bit, it's like a quasi vehicle between it's a split. So with Brad being this Sean Connery character, is this white man finding his redemption. He's some kind of stuffy, kind of zany academic and has had these things happen. This young black kid, he knows like advanced calculus, and he's gonna like uplift him up out of the race and fight a bunch of oppressiveness. And so it's these two mingling narratives that the black male, particularly young black male, as like a child or teenager, is being fed through. So just tie this back into the comment here at hand. So every strategy to slay Becky and Brad. So the black woman and girl, knowing that, primarily in spoken ways and unspoken ways in this race, particularly, this goes on since forever. I love how this concept comes up. We just jealous of these white women and the black men with the white women now. And you hear some black women too. It's so funny because for years, and even circumstance, you still see this, where for the longest time before the white man, for a number of reasons, a number of faulty reasons, he took his boot off the neck of this black man in this race collectively and started openly letting his daughter, and I mean that in a general racial colloquial term, start dating this black male. Typically, the black male had a choice, especially he was a successful, good brother. He had to, if he could command, through caliber, through money, through status, societal status, he had the lightest, brightest woman on his arm, or the most race-mixed mulatto woman if he could get it. So this is where eventually with the alt-right and white nationalists, I do want to have a conversation about the one drop rule, how actually some of the situations that whites demographically find themselves in, a lot of these social strife that they find themselves in with Black Lives Matter, the black race in particular in the West, this is actually one of the root causes to this problem is the one drop rule. So just going out of there, this was what he was able to do for some time. So this idea of slaying Becky, I kind of I went on a tangent and then I tried to circle back and I lost it. But I'm not going to pause. You guys have to just kind of follow me in this one because I really just wanted to get this out real quick. So let me just back up. So basically, yeah, so there we go. So he has this dual relationship with Brad and with Becky, the white man, the white woman. And so then fall into the rest of this comment. I'll just circle through because I wanted this is where it hit me. So didn't realize that Rayshawn only wanted to F Becky, not slay her and hang out with Brad. He didn't care about slaying him either. So this really ties into the last video, the Davis and Rooney comment, some things I've already said previously. So this black male, he's this constant victim. Everybody just hates him. Davis said he's just a black cuck. He's a poor little black boy who's being forced to buy tennis shoes. And the funny thing is, and even the whole thing, he just wanted to hang out with Brad is indicative of what I see in the alt-right. And a lot of these particularly white, middle-class, suburbanish white men, they seem... They speak in this nigger speak, yo fam, what's up? You see it from the Daily Shoah to Daily Stormer. You see it all the way across all of these alt-right white nationalist sites. A lot of younger white guys talk like this. So funny, they don't, they want to play roots backwards, but you've internalized so much of this stuff. And even they've internalized a lot of this same middle class, loathing and weirdness they feel about black men. So basically black men want to hang out with Brad. Look at your average bud. So it's funny, Rooney talking about corporate America and how we shouldn't, especially black males, shouldn't be cucks and supporting corporate America. You look at every other commercial. I've seen it change now, but particularly you see a sock ad. It's some average black guy in a polo. He just magically has 3 or 4 white male friends, or eating DiGiorno pizza together, or drinking a Budweiser. They have no problem with supporting corporate America and being a part of these campaigns. It's always some little ad where there's just always some random black male who's just friends with some white guy. They're buying Progressive insurance or drinking a beer. I don't even know where some of these ads come from. But so he just wants to hang out with Brad too. He likes himself in these corporate commercials and being a part of this scene. And yeah, they wanted to just slay Becky, not in the physical sense. Well, I guess it kind of is physical. So this whole story that's been the mother's milk of the black race, particularly, even though it was really only a standard or requirement black women were held to, is that we need to go out and slay Brad and Becky, slay the white man, get our jobs, get our degrees, keep our head down and work hard. The black woman internalized this and didn't make certain choices for herself as women, because there's being a part of your race or a race, and then being a certain gender. Both of those things are pretty fixed identities that, have variances. They can be fluid, but that's what black women were told and have still been fed, and even to their own detriment. And other black women reinforce this. But the black male, he could talk a lot of this game, like with Rooney. Oh, don't be a black cook. A lot of black men have problem throwing their fists up when it suits them. Like, one key example recently was with the whole H&M coolest monkey in the jungle business. It was funny when P. Diddy and other black men came out to pout their lip out, almost like they were the same age as the little boy in the ad. They don't care when black women or girls are being called a monkey. They'll like, even the average black men will show up online. Even, let's say, I'll be fair, let's say some of them are just 4chan trolls pretending to be black and trolling. I'm not saying that doesn't happen. I'm not saying that might not even be a sizable part of it. But they have no problem when our image or our womanhood or anything is being attacked. But when they're the ones, being attacked. Black Panther was filled with all these, swole, caramel chocolato black men. They don't, some Jews made it, some whites made it to make them hate them. They don't care. Their image was being uplifted and their image was being emblazoned across the screen. They didn't care, and they simply don't care. So that's why you have the dysfunction in the black community, because there's been these two narratives. I left a comment below, and I'm actually in this little thread here. Maybe I'll come back to this later because I want to wrap it up here. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow a little bit more. So when you have two people playing two different games, or even a game that has, for each participant, has different objectives. So think about hide and seek. This is a comment I leave below in this same video. You have the person counting. They close their eyes, face the wall, and they count from 1 to 10 to 20 to 1,000,000. And the other participant or participants run, hide, go over here, go eat a cheeseburger, go, do jumping jacks, whatever. They run away. And that's kind of like with the black woman, is she's the counter. She turned her face, closed her eyes, went to school, kept her head down, kept her knees closed and stayed in school. Or, or in some cases, she's a black woman. Like, these types and extremes we fell into. But the black male just ran and did what he wanted to do. If he wanted to, be not that black guy who's not a thug, but he's a MGTOW, red pill, friend of the alt-right, white nationalist type guy. He sits and writes little snarky comments and passive-aggressive tripe online about how his single black mama oppressing him. And then on another, tangent, the white man oppressing him. And he tore down Black Wall Street once and he oppressing him. And they just go do what they want to do. So that's a big part of what this problem is now. And another reason number 1472 of things like this that I want to talk about and address here, because there's a lot of people aren't understanding and not seeing. And eventually, just kind of what a lot of this recent change in the black women circles online, YouTube came about. It's not about saying the black man is evil and he's the only reason. He's literally, as Kendall and other black women, Kendall, Simone, everyone's pointed out, Chrislyn, he's just a reflection of us and our own nonsense and what we choose to put up with. We would not be having this problem if, so like with this comment again, if more black women, at least by the 80s or 90s, at the end of, the 60s Great Society, the 70s crime waves, 80s crack epidemic, and a lot of those social changes and pushes following the Great Migration of blacks to the north, and a lot of those other hosts of changes, had black women had some type of collective self-preservation, or even an individual, and to be some collective moment we all came out and marched together, this would not have gotten so far. That in 2018, these are discussions we're still having to have, and that these things are just starting. Now, maybe it's just the internet era, social media, bringing more people closer together, that it's finally, we're able to talk about these things, but these things have been circling in the air amongst black women forever. Even enough so, like in Jungle Fever, there's that famous scene where the black women are sitting around after Wesley Snipes, a very dark-skinned, good black professional husband, leaves his light-skinned black wife to go mess around with some working class, Italian, chick from like from Bensonhurst or whatever. Black women were sitting, and even as Spike Lee could fictionalize the conversation that they're having in that midpoint of the film, that's the same conversations black women are still having. This whole perpetual shock that like, well, why is this and why that? So, anywho, we're closing on 15 minutes. I'm going to stop here and just let this video fly. Would like to come back to this again. Great channel, great video. There's some good stuff here, and I totally dug just reading that comment. There's more to come. Have a good night.